Okay. Hello, brothers and sisters of Black and Dark. Welcome to my live stream and YouTube. And of course, where I talk about common sense, I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty. Under 10 minutes, if it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very fucking important. And again, not important to liberals, libertarians, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like drinking, ayahuasca, DMT, weed, all these drugs and escapism. I have no time for to dispute those charges against you, especially if you are into the escapism world. But of course, if you have any comments, questions, insults, or roasts, you put it down below. My friend Rad Dad is here, and of course, as usual, we're back, okay, and we always got interesting subjects to talk about, especially with my schizoid ass. No one is like me out there, and no one is like Rad Dad. Understand that. There's a method to my madness. Okay. And so today's topic will be about, bullying and also systematic racism. Do they exist or do they not exist? Okay. And of course, welcome, Rad Dad.
What's up, man?
Yep. I'm doing okay. Did you do any research before you came onto the stream?
Absolutely. I know about those subjects.
Okay, but you understand what bullying and also affirmative action for systematic racism. Okay? You did do your research, right?
Of course.
We're also going to talk about a solution for this shit because I think both of these things are good. Okay.
Or what?
You understand what I'm saying? So go ahead. Let's conversate on how you think is good and bad, and what you believe, and what's your terminologies of what bullying is, and also racism, systematic racism. Go ahead.
Okay. I think the myth that of systematic racism is due to the idea of postmodernism. And if you listen to Jordan Peterson, he talks a lot about postmodernism, and it's basically saying that any two groups that's different any differences between two groups must be because one group is oppressing the other. That's what postmodernism teaches. And if we know any experience from the real world, we know that's not true, because in any multicultural or multi-ethnic society, none of them equally represent the jobs and positions in the societies based on the percent of people in that race. For example, if Black people make up 13% of the population, that doesn't mean we're going to make up 13% of the military or 13% of the basketball players. We can make up 90% of the basketball players. And that's not because of discrimination. It's just because that's what we choose to go into. So the idea that everything is due to race and the whole system itself is racist is completely bogus. There are times when there's racism, but that doesn't mean the whole system itself is racist. Because when you say a system is racist, you're literally calling everything racist. And that's a very big claim.
Oh, definitely. I believe the same thing. It's like, let me mute your mic. When it comes down to that, postmodernism. Okay, I don't use that term in my vocabulary, but I think of on a higher frequency level. I believe it's more with eugenics, genetics. What do you think about that?
Eugenics, I think that there must be some truth to it, because that's just basic evolution. It's just evolution applied to the social order. It's like if a bunch of dumb people reproduce, then most people are going to be dumb in the future. If a bunch of smart people,
I sent a video about that. Man. I sent a video about how inbreeding and ancestral breeding can begot more bastards and hordes of bastards as a world, which causes a domino effect. Everything's about a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? So if you got individuals running rampant with their heads chopped off, we gonna be going back to the medieval times very, very quickly. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we will be going back to the medieval times very quickly, especially if we lose technology. I mean, I see a future where humans have a bunch of advanced technology and don't know how it works. That might be what it might be.
Okay. And so when I think of this systematic racism, I'm thinking about eugenics. I don't even When I was younger, let me tell you a little story. Your mic is making an echo. It's annoying as fuck. I realized that this 5G better be the shit. Okay, this 5G better be the goddamn shit because this feedback loop and all this other shit, they should know better. These crackers should know all. I'm just gonna say crackers because they cracked up to fix all this technology and shit. They're the ones who's talking to the aliens and shit. I don't want to hear anything about black power structure or anything here. All right, all this shit should be fixed by now. Everybody should have enough money to buy themselves a fucking 4G or 5G. Now I'm losing my train of fucking thought. Okay.
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm losing my train of thought because I keep hearing echo. It's like the voices in my head that's talking to me. It's like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. What you doing? I'm just saying things over and over and over and over again. Shut the fuck up. And I'm like, I can't hear my own goddamn self with this goddamn fucking feedback. Jesus. Now, what was I talking about, Rap Dad?
You were talking about homunculi.
Huh?
You were talking about homunculi.
Eugenetics, man. I'm like, it's like I be losing my train of thought with this fucking echo. And people don't understand that if you keep fucking monkeys, you're gonna get monkeys, and people keep procreating and not caring about the earth. So systematic racism is usually barrels down to the strongest is the fittest. The people with the best genes should survive more than the lower genes. And don't get me wrong, every race should have. I see the movie Star Trek, Star Wars, and in the Star Wars, these monkey people living in the mountains shooting people off of these go pods, the jet pods, the Jedi pods when they be racing and shit like that. And when I see this race of people like making pot shots, they're a neglected race of beings. And I'm like, why don't nobody take care of them? And just like Judge Dredd, when I watched the movie Judge Dredd, there's people living in the sewers, eating in sewers. I said, those are the lower genes of society. So how can a white society make a black society balanced? They're doing that right now. It's called a democracy. Okay. But you can't, when you have a democracy, you can't let it get out of hand or become socialism. And then socialism breeds communism, okay? Because I know a little bit about politics when it comes to common sense. When everybody wants a fucking handout and they're feeding and fucking breeding off the earth, that is not good. That's a fucking dangerous fucking thing. And these days, it's predominantly women who are killing the most people in the world. Just to be straightforward, it ain't white people, okay? It ain't fucking black people. It's women. It's the sexes. It's a race. It's more like not a race. It's a more of a sex name. And sex fucking sells, right? Rat Dad. I don't try to sound like I'm hating on women. I just feel that when I talk to people who don't like research, and then I'm like, what are you doing for society? Right? And then they talk about systematic racism. I'm like, what else are you doing for society? You know how many people I helped in my fucking life? And I'm a schizoid, I'm a black negroid with mixed breed of, I have German in my blood. I got Indian in my blood. So I'm not truly fucking negroid. And I'm happy I'm not 100% negroid. Right, Rat Dad?
Yeah, exactly what you mean.
You know how you be talking to yourself? If you're a mixed breeded motherfucker, right? Yeah. You gotta think like this. I want to learn all this shit, but I can't contain it. That's fucked up. All of the books that I read in my past when I was in high school and them negroids was making fun of me and shit. And I'm like, I know these motherfuckers gonna get thrown in jail more than me. All because of motherfucking dick sizes.
Exactly. Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But when let me tell you something. When you have a culture that don't like smart people, of course, most of them gonna be stupid because the smart men ain't gonna get options with the ladies. They're not gonna have a chance with the ladies, and they ain't gonna reproduce. Therefore, smart genes are gonna become more rare. Therefore, your whole race will be stupid. So when people say black people are dumber than white people, I can't dispute that because it shows. Because black people have a culture where they don't embrace the smart people. They shun them. Asians embrace the smartest people. They embrace the smart people with open arms.
Hey. Let me add on to that. Let me add. You said, let's keep a pause on that mental note here. You know, a lot of Asiatic, Bangladesh, Indian people look up to me, man. And I'm shocked that they actually listen to me. They don't look at my color or anything, and they compliment me in a way that I've never been complimented before. They tend to be more, astute with trying to learn. And I'm black, and I thought they would only be. They're far from racist. And so when I talk to these individuals who are from Bangladesh and India and Pakistan, and they're shocked to listen to me, they already know how the cultures are, and I'm shocked. But when I talk to my own people in my own country, it's like it's completely disrespectful. Do you understand what I mean? It's really fucking it's fucking shocking. Okay,
bro, I know exactly what you mean. That's the thing, though. We can't help where we're born, and not all skin folk are kinfolk. Two people can be so similar, even though they're born halfway across the world. Just because they got the same race as you, that doesn't mean they'll think like you, and that doesn't mean they'll have common sense like you. Especially if they come from a culture, like I said before, that don't embrace smart people, that don't embrace knowledge and don't embrace truth. That's why black people will shame you for reading a book. If you were Asian, right, and you grew up in an Asian community instead of the black community, and they saw you reading a book, they wouldn't care. They would promote that. You see what I'm saying?
Blacks have to actually suffer in order to become intelligent. Think about that. Yep. They literally have to suffer. Did you know the Wall Street was based off of black people? Through their suffering, they actually made it back in the 1940s. And when was that happening? The Black Wall Street, which really wasn't the Black Wall Street. It was just a community of black people who just getting together, doing everything they were supposed to be doing, and it was mimicking what white people were doing. Okay, so if they were mimicking what white people were already doing, and they were making it, and eventually they got destroyed for it because they were some of their bridges was being broken because they was succeeding past white people, and that's the problem right there. Okay, when white people give enough education to blacks and they were suffering at the same time, that's a combination of a bag of ass whipping there. The niggas are coming. That's what they told me. The niggas are coming. And I'm like, you taught us. You taught the motherfuckers, okay? But I'm not selling. I ain't trying to sell food or anything. But when niggers do suffer, niggas or whatever you want to call them, because I'm a nigga and I'm a fucking Negro too. A niggas. Motherfucker. Okay, that's right. An Ethiopian, I know Ethiopian too. I think I'm higher than Ethiopian. I'm a Zulu. Okay. And so I don't want to be considered nobody, no race or anything. I just feel that when niggas suffer in America, and then on top of that, you got to think about affirmative action. You know about affirmative action, right? And
yeah.
We are going on the path of where's the systematic racism. We're talking about, do you look at it as a good thing or a bad thing? How do you look at affirmative action as a good thing? Huh?
I generally look at affirmative action as being a bad thing, because anytime you have a double-edged sword that doesn't need to be, you don't need that double-edged sword. Just get a regular sword. For example, if there's when you have affirmative action, that not only means you have to hire women and have to hire black people, even when they aren't as skilled as somebody else. Whereas somebody like an Asian or a white person, you can't let them in your school, or you can't hire them because there's too many of them, and you have to have a quota. So they bar Asians from entering a lot of universities because of their race, and that's racism. So you don't fix an issue that you think is racist by adding more racism, and that's exactly what affirmative action does.
You know, to me, I look at it as a good thing and a bad thing, but the only thing they really need to do, okay, to fix that problem is that check the history of motherfuckers. Like if a white person basically like has ancestors who had slaves, then that person gets no privileges. If a black person have not been either a slave, has been racially prejudiced against, okay, racially, discriminated against, or that black has an ancestor that they know, then they probably should get some reparations, because this country has a history of racism, and the systematic racism needs to be in place, okay, because there is a systematic racism. Only the crackers and the Malanos will say there's no such thing as racism. When you got a white person that says there's no such thing as racism, you automatically know. But if at the same note, like if you take Ben Shapiro, who don't know the pathology, who knows that just recently blacks have been freed from all of this fucking injustices. He knows that we just got freed in 1968 after fucking Martin Luther King's been assassinated. He knows that. He knows that it's going to trickle down. He should know that there's still racism in systems. Yes. But you can't say there's no systematic racism. You cannot say absolutely positively there's no systematic racism because I've encountered this shit. I've encountered it directly.
Well, you got to understand the difference between a racist system, a systematic racism, and racism. The two is not the same, right? When people say systematic,
okay, go ahead.
When people say systematic racism or systemic racism, they're talking about a system that's racist. The system can't be racist. You can have individuals who are racist against you. That's not the same as a racist.
And so let's talk about the individuals. Let's break down the pathology here very clearly. We already know the Jewish people are a bit more intelligent than the regular Caucasoid people of the North. So we already know.
True.
So if you're thinking about this racism, they don't want the spread of this wealth. I'm talking about wealth here. I'm talking about capital. We're talking about capital. Capitalism is a big time thing with white folks. And if you want to go to Africa to see who got more money in the world, they won't talk about it on the media. So they conquer your ass, right? They did that to the Zulus, right? So it's all about capitalism and their religion. So we got that shit out of the way, right? But if you bring it to America, understand that they have systems in place to keep the 13% from overpopulating, correct? So you got to have this certain psychology behind the psychology and a certain race to take the brunt fall. Like, you know how a Jewish person will put a black person on a pedestal to make themselves not look guilty. They ain't stupid. Jewish people ain't stupid. Caucasian people and crackers and ain't stupid. They know that if we put a black person up on there, right, we won't take the brunt of the fall. It's a black person's space up there, but I own the company, right? We know that there's, when I say that systematic racism, I'm talking about racism is involved in the systematic racism. It's common sense. It's common sense. I'm telling you right now, if you go out there, I've already did this test. Do this test yourself. I guarantee you this. If you need proof, find the proof and talk about it like I do. Find out where this racism is at. I remember I got my friend, this happened just a few years ago. No, it didn't happen a few years ago. It actually happened 20-something years ago, but it still may exist today. Get yourself some applications. Put down a lot of Africans with high potential rates. Okay, you're following me so far here? If you do this experiment, you will find that there's still racism in this country. And go to the more whiter Republican states, okay, Republican states, okay, not the democracy states. The democracy states tend to be more not likely to be racist. Are you still following me? Go to those states. There's 50 states in the United States, correct? I'm telling you, at least about I believe there's still 30% racism in America. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it like that. I don't think it's 50%. I know there's more white people, but there's white people who tend to have a conservative thought. They be like, okay, we're trying to help blacks. We still have a thought that we're going to try to help fix these injustices, but they're not as empathetic. Because I talk to a lot of white folks, and they tell me the reasons why we have all this catastrophes and shit going on because, Abraham Lincoln and all that. But I ain't gonna get into that. But listen to this: you got 50 states. If you go into each state, go do a census and fill out these application processes for blacks, fictitious blacks. Now, it don't have to be real people now here. Do it yourself. Now, there's a guy on the internet somewhere, I don't know his name, okay? He's doing an example. He's doing some sort of experiment to see if racism exists. He's putting out applications for fake black people and fake white people. He puts the black people first. Okay, he puts, let's say this particular company, right? Are you following me, Rat Dad?
Yeah, but there's a flaw in that because you know how? Because
let me finish. There's 50
Social security number.
Listen, no, we're not going to look at social security numbers. I know we're going to speak about the social security numbers, but let's put it like this. Okay, yeah, you may have a point there. Let's use fictitious individuals with real social security numbers who actually do have academics. Okay, let's use real people then. Okay, if we just want to make sure and make believe here, because I did this myself, and I was shocked that my friend got more hits. I'm living in Clearton, Elizabeth. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I put my application in, and I definitely qualify over he is. I definitely qualify. So I put my application. I'm just giving an example of what you can do to make sure you can expose racism. Okay, there's different tactics you can use. And I had to figure this out. I was like, there's lots of racism in America. So I had to see this for myself. I don't believe it's 50%. Somebody says over 50%. Okay, because there's more whites than blacks. Okay, but listen what I'm saying here. Get the application process done. Okay, you hear me? Right that, and put blacks who say they're black on that application, and then put white for those white guys who are not. They do not benefit. Okay, do not have enough qualifications for the job, but you got blacks who qualify. You will find out there's going to be some sort of discrepancy there. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Do your research yourself, you guys. If you want to know if there's no such thing as systematic racism, go to get a loan or something, and put your and then get a friend who you know as who is white, and do that, because I did that, and I was like, yuck, I was shocked that my friend got more. He got more respect and he got more calls than I did, and I was following through, and he didn't need to follow through. It was followed through.
True,
So,
but you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? I believe it. I believe it could exist. I believe it's like maybe 10% or 5%. But that's my thing though. I'm gonna say three things. One, it seemed like you I don't know how that dude is gonna get away with making so many fake people, because when you apply for a job, you're gonna need to input your social security number. So I don't know how he's gonna get away with it.
You're right about that. I was saying, I know you're going with that, but I'm saying, let's say you have a friend who's white.
Okay, I agree with that. He's a real person. Okay, so if you use real people, the problem is we know. Let's just cut the shit right now. We know black people don't always pay stuff back, and they always in debt and don't know how to manage money. We know that. Let's just be real here. So
yeah, we know that's a fact. We know that. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. So maybe it ain't racist. Maybe it's just like, okay, maybe this person is less likely to pay me back, or more likely to mismanage the money, or something like that, because we know it's true.
Yeah. I also agree that most blacks who are in jail deserve to be in jail as well. My thing is with the jail incarceration, that if they're in jail longer than the white counterpart, that's because that helps them out. They're using psychology. That's another part of systematic racism that I see throughout the United States. But I don't know anything about that. But if I hear that if a black person is thrown in jail longer, they could be thrown in jail for a few reasons: because of their mouth, because of the way they carry themselves, because of the way they need to be in it, they're highly attractive, or because of jealousy. It could be a multitude of reasons why they added 13 years for some smoking some shit, because I was there. I was fucking in jail multiple times, but they let me out. So if I was there and I got pulled over 6 times and they let me go 3 times, what do you think that means? Okay. I believe that if you don't carry yourself the correct way, you deserve psychologically what you deserve. You deserve it. Okay.
I agree. Because I know black people are more likely to disrespect the law and authorities and all of that.
Because they didn't have a father figure. Yeah, they didn't have a father figure.
And also, when you don't have a father figure in the home, you're more likely to go to jail. So I look at this incarceration thing, and that's my thing. You see what I'm saying? You see how we broke it down? We added other factors other than race. You see what we did? And it was common sense to do that. But see, postmodernism say, again, it must be racism. If there's two differences between two groups, there must be racism. That's what postmodernists believe, and they're completely wrong. They're the same people, right? And you brought this up earlier, that said that last century, right? Okay, so you remember last century in the 1900s? From 1899 to the year 1999, people were experimenting with different types of government, right? They were experimenting with communism and all of that. And they found out
I go further back to that time when they was doing these tests with romanticized intellectualism versus regular intellectualism. That era kind of like faded out because they realized that if you're creative, if you're articulate, you're automatically on the romanticized intellectualism. If you articulate yourself to the point to where you sound like Socrates and shit, then you can't be touched. And they can't even put that on the same page as other individuals who are so stiff with their logic. You can't be stiff when it comes to logic. You got to be creative as hell and innovative as fuck and ask enough questions so nobody won't be, won't have prejudice against them. You get what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And my point is this, I agree. And expand on that, like I was saying earlier, that can you hear me clearly, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, to expound on that, it's like it's like the experience. You remember how the last century, how people wrote about different types of government tyranny and stuff like that? How George Orwell wrote about 1984 and a bunch of other people wrote, Ayn Rand and stuff. They wrote about like what do you call it? with dystopian fantasies, like dystopian stories, right? About how the government controls speech. It seems like everything written in the last century, the 2020 is the year that a lot of it becomes true. Because if you look at the freedom of speech is on the line in the US. You can't say shit nowadays because they want to censor what you got to say. That's a version of thought crime. You can't think the wrong thought or you'll be thrown in jail, just like in 1984. And it seems, and another thing that my generation forgot is that we didn't live in the 1990s. So we didn't live in the 1900s. So we didn't get a chance to see the dangers of communism and socialism. We didn't get a chance to see the dangers of that. But that's why so many of people my age are embracing socialism and communism, because they don't know the dangers of it. They didn't live it. They don't know it. They haven't seen it on TV. They don't know what they're doing.
And you know who can fix all these problems in America, but they're just being silent? Thomas Sowell, Larry Elder, even Candace Owens can fix all the problems in the United States when it comes down to this so-called just making things clear, because they sound so concise and so pristine when they talk about the systems, but some of them are a little bit coonery, okay? But they know that there's a form of racism. They know there's a pathology to it. But don't get me wrong. I'm only talking when we was talking a little earlier about the 13%, and though the 13% of that 13%, 70% of them are idiots and they need to be wiped out. Yeah. The ones that actually are trying, okay, the ones that actually are trying can actually fix the 70% with a certain amount of what do you want to say? A certain amount of intellect and capitalism. They can control the 70%. Okay, true. So you know how you got these intellectual blacks, conservatives who want to keep America great, but they don't want to try to involve racism. They want to try to earn their way to be intelligent. Okay, so the 70% of single mothers who are part of that 13% can be forced, you see, through a white republic in a sort of sense. But this is not happening. And this is another thing about, I believe that the systematic racism can be kind of racist because they know how to exterminate the problem. If you have 70% of the 13%, okay, you know what I'm saying? There's more women, okay, I believe, than men. Most of the guys are in jail, right? That's what they say, okay? So the black men are in jail, and the numbers dwindle down to like 10% or just 14 to fucking 11%, okay? Just that number alone, you can break that shit down and find out why we have so many single mothers raising these bastard children, okay? And I was a bastard child. I don't even know who my dad is, but look how I came out to be. I tried my best in life, and I tried to go the intellectual path, but do I have a house? No, I got something very comfortable. I'm living comfortably now because they helped me out because I asked enough questions. They didn't want me in the street. The white man didn't want me in the street. So if the white man don't want me in the street, guess what? Guess what I'm saying to other brothers? Why can't they copy me? They don't want to listen to me. So how can you fix those motherfuckers who's in the hood? How do you fix them? That's the solution. Which one of solutions here? How can we fix this EOE, equal opportunity shit? You know how I know how to fix it. But let me hear what you have to say about that first before I start running my mouth. I got a solution for that.
Okay? Thanks. That's actually very insightful, and I know you got experience with it. And you can attest that when you try to speak to Negroes and try to tell them the truth, they like, get out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. So you know they don't listen to nobody, and they don't listen to that father. Because you came with a fatherly aura to a lot of black folks around here.
I'm actually self-taught. I'm self-taught from suffering. I had to be dramatized in order to get it. So maybe that's a way that I learned quickly. I didn't want to do no drugs. I didn't want to hang with no gangs. I didn't want to talk to people who were like, yo, man, I'm from New York, man. I didn't want to sound like that. There was something that snapped and said, do you want to be a religious person? Do you want to be like the motherfuckers? And then I was like, voices telling me don't, because that's not individual God. So go ahead. Continue what saying. Go ahead.
Bro, I can relate to that. I think me and you are similar in a lot of ways because when I'm the same way. It's like a lot of folks try to act hood and try to be gangster and stuff, and I just can't relate to them. They try to do drugs, and I just can't be around that stuff. They try to drink alcohol, and I just don't want to deal with it because I go with what Nietzsche said. Friedrich Nietzsche. He's basically is alcohol and drugs. That's escapism. You trying to escape the real world. Why don't you just get a natural high off living life?
Why don't you
Okay.
keep yourself distracted or work out, playing the basketball? See, me, I'm going to court sometime out here, 2 or 3 hours. I don't see nobody out there. When I go to New York, I don't really see too many out there either. But there's more people in New York, so I see sometimes when it gets hot, then they come out. But then
Yeah.
afterward, what else do they do? I'm a gamer, so I don't just play basketball, NBA, 2K.
True.
These niggas play the same shit. I'm like, did you just play something more than that?
When the nighttime come out,
Nice.
because let me tell you why. A lot of black people, especially young black boys, like sports, like basketball and stuff, because they seek that father figure stuff. They seek that fatherly thing. And that's the only kind of authority. You know, like how coaches and stuff, basketball coaches and football coaches are in the black community. They that fatherly energy. They give that fatherly energy to the boys. That's why they like basketball and stuff. That's why they're drawn to it, because they seeking a father. And that's why black boys are so into basketball and football and all that stuff. And that's all they know, because that's what they seeking and that's what they missing in their life. That's why they so obsessed with 2K and basketball games and playing basketball. It's just how it is. And none of that's due to racism. It's just cultural. And I think the solution is to the problem. It's just to fix the culture. It's not race. I think that whether black people are inherently stupid or not, it's irrelevant. As long as the stupid people are just smart enough to listen to the 10% of smart people, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? The queen ant is the smartest ant. All the ants know to listen to her because she make the best decisions.
I don't. Any females are
no, I'm just trying to give an example. I'm just trying to make an
no
example.
queen bee
It's not
for me.
Huh? I'm just saying they ants not human, so you know it's different for them. But in humans, the king is as long as you understand, listen to smart people. If your community is dumb, it don't matter if they're dumb. If they learn to listen to the smart individuals, if they listen to the smart people, that's what matters. Because you could be a babbling oaf, but as long as you know enough to listen to those who are smarter than you, you good. It's like your daughters, right? Your children. They're not as smart as you, are they? No, not yet, at least. But guess what? They know enough to listen to you and listen to daddy because he knows what's best. That's what most black people need to do. That would fix the situation. If the dumb people would just listen, that's it. And change the culture.
And that's exactly, and you know what white people do? They're pretty intelligent. They put the guns in the black communities. They put those fucking alcohol. They know that, but they did. Okay, you know, I'm like, when I see it, I'm like, why are you gravitating it towards like a fucking moth? And I tell you, I said, don't gravitate towards it. Okay? They put it there as a test, motherfucker. Like,
exactly. Good point. Look, let me tell you this: if the white man is giving the black community shit, butterflies aren't attracted to shit. Flies are attracted to shit. Whether the white man places shit in the black communities or not, the black community will still be full of flies because all of them are just flies. So whether the white man put shit in the neighborhood or not, a butterfly won't touch shit. You were a butterfly when you were younger, you know? You were a better entity than the flies. You see what I'm saying? Everybody around you were flies and they would just eat the shit. You didn't want to touch the shit. The same with me. And that's how most black people are. They're flies. They're cultural fucking flies. But
listen to this. Listen to this. You know, when you hear about this Black Lives Matter series, I'm not trying to switch subjects. I think it's preposterous to talk about Black Lives Matter when there's so many more people dying in the hood, when they kill each other and they're learning rape. But most of them deserve to die. You just have to get out of there. Like when I hear guys like Nipsey Hussle, he was once a fucking gangster and shit and all that shit. That's why he got killed, because you can't help Negroes. You can't help them. And they deserve to be killed. They need to kill themselves, okay? You know, I'm not happy. I'm a sadist. So I like seeing chaos to make peace, okay? So I'm like, every time I hear it, and I said, what did we talk to you about? You're going to keep doing it? Okay, go ahead and keep doing it. And even some gangsters are starting to stand up now. They're starting to stand up now. I see some gangsters talking on their Facebook sometimes. I was like, okay, I found them. I shared it on my page. And they'd be like, yeah, man, they don't appreciate Black Lives Matter. And the ones who's woke, they'd be like, yeah, well, I don't appreciate it, man. My brother just died. He was talking about. I said, yeah, you go. So why did he say that? And he lived in the hood.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If black people just leave the hood but the problem is a lot of black people, and I know this from experience, they'll be ghetto, right? They'll be from Chicago or some other hard area, and they would leave and go to a suburb area, like somewhere in Georgia, somewhere like that, or Philadelphia, and they'll be acting like they the tough guys when they the ones that ran from the shit. They ran from the hood, and they want to come to another suburb and act ghetto and try to act ghetto. Like that's not how it works. Leave the ghetto in the hood. Let the hood stay in the hood. Don't bring the hood with you. And that's another problem. If they leave the ghetto, I'm afraid that they might just make every other area just as bad as where they came from.
As a matter of fact, let me give you some real life experience. Yo, man, I left Clairton Elizabeth, right? And I left there only for like 5 years. My grandma kind of moved me to Homewood, Pittsburgh. And my boy Chuck is out there because he helped me out with a lot of things. He's like my business friend, okay? He's like my partner and stuff, you know, because I helped him stop getting he was getting bullied on there. We're gonna talk about that shortly too. And a solution about this motherfucking EOE and affirmative action shit. Because I got a solution for that shit. But when I left and I came back to Clairton, and this is Century 3 townhomes. The place was fucking destroyed. They moved all those guys from the projects up into that area. And when I first moved to the Century townhomes, the fucking ground was paved as black gold. And I saw nothing but blonde haired, blue eyed white folks out there, the crackers and snowmans and Caucasians. Okay. I saw them out there and I thought negative of them, but then I didn't see them because they invited me in their houses like it was nothing. Okay. And then I was kind of upset, okay, because if they distrusted me, I felt bad about my own people at a time. And then I was like, then I just left. Eventually, my grandma, moved me to Homewood. And then I was like, okay, because I was already intelligent when I was younger. I just see this. This is weird. I think it's a genetic thing, okay. And that started evolving. And I came back to Clairton, and it was completely destroyed because they moved the motherfuckers up there. And then on top of that, when they moved the motherfuckers up, I was like, what the hell happened? The potholes, buildings falling down and shit. Like the neglect is everywhere and shit. What the hell is going on? Okay. And then I asked my boy Chuck, I was like, yo, what happened here, man? He said they moved them up here. I said, oh shit, that's fucked up, man. This is fucking preposterous. I can't believe they destroyed this whole neighborhood. Okay. They were loud. I heard some niggas was down the street, they were getting all loud and shit. That's fucking sad, man. But now I understand why sometimes white people move out of a neighborhood. See? All right.
That's a good point. That's a nice story, man. I know for a fact that shit like that happen all the time. And that's why a lot of times white people don't want to hire black or don't want to invest in black people because they see the black name and they like, oh, I don't want to deal with this because they know the culture behind it. This person might screw up, or this person might fuck up the neighborhood. This person might fuck up the job. And like if LaQuisha,
yeah. As a matter of fact, those names, yeah. As a matter of fact, naming your daughters like LaQuisha and all stuff can be a bad stigmatism on it. That could be a bad thing, though. But the single mothers don't know. Okay.
Exactly, because if every person I met named LaQuisha or something similar was misbehaved, was a bad person, the next person I come across named LaQuisha, I'm gonna be reluctant on hiring them. That's just how human nature works. It's human psychology.
And that's not racism either. And that's not racism. Okay?
Exactly.
That's precautions. You're taking precautions to make sure that shit don't happen because them bitches loud as fuck too.
Exactly. Exactly. So I look at things like, oh, systematic racism because they won't hire me. Well, that's not true. Are you well behaved? You can't say you can't say they've met you before. If you go in for an interview, if they meet you, then maybe they'll change their mind. But if they see the name LaQuisha on there they're gonna assume what they always assume with every LaQuisha. It's like this. Einstein said it best. Insanity is when you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. If every LaQuisha I meet is insane, then the next one I meet, 9 times out of 10 she's gonna be insane. Just like if you met somebody named Chow Ming, if you saw the name Chow Ming, you're like, oh, this person Chinese. Well, you'd be like, this person Asian. It's the same thing. Okay, you wouldn't drop a ball and expect it to float, would you? You wouldn't flip a light switch and expect the light to turn green.
And I want people to understand this. If you got any fucking questions, please ask it in the fucking comment section. Don't be watching like a dunce and shit and not even asking. You know how some people be watching and be looking, but they don't hear nothing. Okay, there's some stupid people out there. Okay, and I want to say one thing though about this employment shit. Men and women get paid the same. When you get hired, you get paid the same because you have discussions in the back, and some people get raises. So when people get 2 cents raises, I don't even want to discuss that because that's bullshit. I've never heard of unequal pay, a woman getting paid more than the man and shit like that. I've never heard of that shit. Every time I go in there, I say, how much you getting paid? And then the female tells me, okay, this is how much I'm getting paid, and da da da, you got it. Okay, it's the same amount I'm getting paid. I never heard of that shit before. That's an excuse for women to try to use their feminist movement power so they can try to get the leg up upon the patriarch or some shit. I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm hiring people, and I told you I hired these type of people for this amount, and you came in at the wrong time, obviously, okay, you came in at the time it was 725. When the other people came in, I gave them $8 an hour. That has nothing to do with fucking unequal pay. Okay, that says you came in at the wrong time, and I want to address that real clear because that has nothing to do with racism or sexism or anything such as that. And I want women to stop doing that shit because that's destroying society by running their mouths so much. Exactly. So go ahead.
They want equal rights without equal accountability.
Your audio, man, your audio.
Oh, is this better?
Nah, you got to mute out and mute something. Do something different. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give me a second.
Okay, hold on. Let me do my mic too. I think you got to mute.
All right, this is better.
Yeah, but your voice sounds lower.
Okay, what about now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let me see my settings real quick because obviously this thing is not doing right. Okay, microphone, snowball. Microphone, blue snowballs.
Yeah, before you were sounding very clear. When you speak, it's very clear, but you just press some button and you exit out. You came back in. I don't know what it is. No, you just sound different, man. You just sound a little lower. So the audience might hear you a little lower. Yeah, hold on for just a moment. Maybe it's me.
Be better, right?
Hold on, I'm gonna cut this.
Testing.
Okay. Testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, but let's continue on. But I can hear you, but you don't sound as loud as you was before. Okay, maybe someone tried to call you.
No, I was using my phone and my phone was dying, so I switched to my computer, and now I'm using my computer mic.
Okay, but your voice is kind of low, so I just want you to know that. Okay.
All right.
But
so
I believe. Go ahead.
Is it like completely low to the point where you can barely hear it?
It's cut by 50%. Your audio is cut by 50%. You just told me you switched, right? So there you go.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wish that wasn't like that, but let's see something. Maybe something's interfering with my mic because I have steam running in the background. I'm gonna close it.
But I don't hear the echo anymore though. The echo is gone.
Oh, okay. That's probably what was doing it because my mic was up so loud. Okay, so my point, to the solution, which is the most important part of the conversation, I think, the solution, in my opinion, is to just, let me just state this. I think that people like Candace Owens, people like Larry Elder and Thomas Sowell, Larry Elder and Thomas Sowell especially, Thomas Sowell, they don't fix it. You notice Thomas Sowell don't never talk about his personal life. You notice that? You don't know what's going.
I don't know what I heard him talking. I'm like, he sounds very astute, man. He sounds.
I know exactly.
If there's another person, Cornel West. Okay, Cornel West. Yo, man, he's live with bubbly energy. I don't know why he can't fix the hoods or anything like that. Why can't they run for fucking president? Why can't they fucking run for president? Okay, if a Negroid want to kind of run for president, don't let it be Oprah. Okay, don't let it be Oprah. Yeah. But please, if they're that much knowledge, the nation know what to do and how to fix the motherfucking 70% of the 13% of the fucking Negroid communities. Okay, because they sound like they can do it.
But that's the thing.
So why don't they just try to push forward?
It's never
and become a president, huh?
It's never just one person. It's never up to one person. The community as a collective has to make the conscious decision, or not, to be part of the next movement of the solution. They can't.
But it has to be done through force. So Bill Cosby was supposed to do something about that. I remember I told you about Bill Cosby. He got set up.
They had him arrested. Yeah. Then they accused him of something.
Yeah. So anytime when you have an idea to fix your own community, that's where another thing, racism exists there. So you got to be careful there.
But it's mostly liberals. You notice the liberal movement came and dethroned Bill Cosby. The Me Too movement, that's a liberal run movement.
Well, it wasn't black people who dethroned Bill Cosby. It was white people who did that shit. Be careful.
White women. But
when you got a man who stalks, he was in the universities. He was talking about his strategy, and he said, I remember him saying how we had to focus on the feminine aspect, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so if he started talking about the core problem, Donald Trump was talking about cutting off the Section 8. Great idea. Even Candice Owens talked about single mothers, and also the fucking welfare department. Cut that shit off. I don't use the welfare system. I have never used it. The last time I used the welfare system was like 5 fucking years ago, man. I didn't even know what the fuck it was. Didn't know. I'm a single person in the street. And I didn't know what the fucking I didn't know what SNAP was. I didn't know what that shit was.
I'm still confused on what it is, but I think a lot of the requirements. I noticed something about government assistance is while it might help you for a little bit, the problem is people get addicted to it, right? And you're not supposed to keep it forever. I know people who
And that I believe strongly that as soon as a woman has a child, okay, you enforce this shit. And you put an extra Chris by the name said these are limited ability. These are limited. If you say limited, you make sure you tell that woman to keep her motherfucking legs closed. Fuck them accidents. Stop fucking. Exactly. Stop going to the club.
They would have less abortions if they practice abstinence.
And that abortion shit is the #1 killer in the fucking world, man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it's guess what? And guess who else gave that to black people? Liberals. Just like Malcolm X said. Malcolm X said the liberal is literally the black man's worst enemy. He literally said that's literally like a wolf in sheep's clothing. He literally called out liberals. Yet black people embrace liberalism right to this day. That's insane. And liberals got
Michael Savage. I listened to his radio show. He said liberalism is a mental disorder, and it fucking is, okay? Exactly. And it has to be done by force. It must be stopped, okay?
Because they believe that men are women and women are men. That's how you know they're mental disorder, because they don't even believe in genders anymore. They don't believe in nothing no more. So you know, I'd rather be a hardcore Christian than to be a transsexual or to be a gender fluid any day. Because I thought, because back in the day, I was so obsessed with this atheist stuff. And while it's true, right? There's no real evidence for
your volume is lower, man. Your volume is much lower than it was. Yeah.
Oh, it's a little louder. Okay. So while I
was you gotta get closer to the speaker, okay? Because it sounds like bro kind of low.
Because while I was close to this atheist stuff, right? While I was really into this atheist stuff, I was like, maybe if we got rid of religion, everything would be better. And I would look at every church I would pass by. Yeah, exactly. I was wrong, but I would look at every church I would pass by, and I was like, okay, well, this will be this. We got rid of that and just put that money toward XYZ, then we'll solve everything. But I didn't know how far wrong I was, because I looked at it, and as people got less religious, you know, with liberalism, that teaches you to drop religion, which is a bad thing for most people. Most people can't afford to not be religious. Since they drop religion, you see the rise of other dogmas, because it's not religion that's a problem. It's a dogma, and liberalism is a dogma. It tells you that you can't say this. It tells you you can't think that. It tells you you can't eat this. You know how they try to make you eat more plants when you should be eating meat and stuff, you know. They try to tell you what you can and cannot do. That's a fucking religion.
Religion is a tool. It's a great evil for a greater good. You need religion for the weak. You know, the medieval times, it came from medieval what do you call it? Paganism. It comes from paganism, and the origins of religion comes from the stars and the skies and the earth. So after a while, through the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons and the fucking Latins and shit, they made a system through the Gentiles and the higher ups who can think with psychology majors. And they said, we're going to put fear in people's hearts. So the more people have morals are fucking important. And they put them in that fucking book so nobody won't break the code. So basically nobody follows that. So religion is not really working. In Japan, they don't even believe in religion no more. Okay, so it comes down to animalistic nature now. Once you get rid of religion, people either have to be self-aware, okay? They're going to have to be self-aware and treat others as they want to be treated, and have empathy for little animals and creatures and shit, and don't fuck them, okay, and don't hurt them, or they're going to be chaotic, and we're going to go back to fucking medieval times. So you're going to need religion to keep most of the masses of asses, which I keep saying, you got to keep them contained, or it's going to go crazy. You don't want to go back to medieval time. Somebody get trained like the fucking Saul and start killing people, think it's a righteous thing. You don't want that. Okay, so you're going to have religion for the immoral, okay, people who automatically think of themselves as sinners. But what other thing can you replace? It's called education, but most people are not interested in motherfucking education. So that's a problem right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think, you can't use religion if religion can't work and education don't work. so we can make a better humanity, how the fuck or what other steps can we take to keep ourselves contained so we won't go out of control with socialism and fucking all over the place like fucking Sodom and Gomorrah and shit? Well, how can we, what other thing can we put in place? America. Okay.
Yeah, I think the best. I think. Can you hear me? Is my volume good?
Yeah, you gotta get close to that volume. You gotta get close to that microphone. You know you got a cheap phone. Okay, you
No,
gotta get.
I'm not. It's StreamYard, man. I voice act. You know I'm a voice act.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's your phone, man, because maybe it's my phone. Maybe I
No,
need
it's
to
not
cut
my
out.
phone. I'm not using my phone right now. I'm on my computer.
Yeah, maybe it's your computer, man. Okay,
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
mean,
telling you,
it's StreamYard because I voice act on this. I voice act with my computer and all that, and I record myself for anime and video games and stuff. So I mean, it don't really.
does it do it all of the time?
No, it just does this on StreamYard. StreamYard is the only one that does this. So
Maybe
I
you have to
don't.
drop in and come right back out because sometimes I cut in and I come back out and I close my screen and open it back up and it works. So let me try this let me try one thing here. Let me exit out here and I'm gonna come right back in very shortly. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, let me see something. All right.
Yo.
Okay, I'm back in now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but your voice still sounds the same. Maybe you have to exit out, come right back in. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave the settings on. What about now? Is it loud? Is it better now?
Nah, it's not the same, man. Not the
Shit.
same.
Damn.
Hold on, let me see something here. All right, I'm back. And so we always talking about some interesting fucking topics until something happens. And of course, as you should already know, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And Rad that shall be back. He shall return. And other than that, I also try to do restream. The good thing about StreamYard is that you can have at least about 6 people on. You got to pay for extra member stuff. You get $20 for free and stuff, and it's pretty good. Maybe one day, when I get rich, I'll probably pay them $20 a month. But that's a little bit too much. I think it should be $10. Okay. Rather than that, okay, that's a good idea. They should have some other incentive. Okay, when you join, you get paid. Okay, they should combine fucking the podcast like Anchor.fm and then combine it so you can make money by doing advertisements or something. The more people who watch you, the more it's kind of like a YouTube thing, but they should make sure everyone is on 2 different departments, explicit and non-explicit. And I'm on the explicit side. I don't like the fact that they look at your explicitness and you're a comedian or you're colored black or you're a negroid and you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. Okay, because I'm not inciting any terrorism here. I'm not talking about anything. I'm not showing anything explicit. I can talk about any sexual thing I want. Okay, but you know how they got these rules and regulations. If you're explicit, you should be able to do whatever and say what the fuck you want to say, and they have to fix that. How you been, Rat Dad? Welcome back. Can you say something?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Yeah, it sounds a little better. Yes.
Oh, cool. I just cleared my cache and my cookies, but my little icon isn't showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I can hear you very clear now.
cool. Okay, so I wanted to say that the solution to me, and we want solutions. The solution to the problem might just be to let the problem persist. Now, it might seem crazy.
Hey, chaos breeds peace.
Yeah, chaos from order, but I'm not sure. But that's the thing, though. There's different flavors of order.
You mean order from chaos? Right?
Yeah, order from chaos. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. There's different flavors of order. And that's the problem. After the current chaos and madness, who will take over? We know who will take over. The UN, the globalists, George Soros, and the like, and everybody else.
I
And
don't
of
think
course,
it's going to come to that. It's the people's choice.
no, it's not the
gonna
people's choice. That's the thing. Yeah, you say it's the people's choice, but you got 70% of young people embracing communism. Yeah, I don't think there's. I think I know what they'll choose.
I don't think they're embracing communism.
No, they do. Trust me.
They don't.
Have you
I
been
don't
to a
think they
college campus?
understand. I don't think they understand what communism is. I think they don't understand what even socialism is.
They don't, but they think they
a lot of
do.
young motherfuckers out there, they don't know what those terms mean. When you think of a democracy, you're thinking about equal pay and make sure nothing is done wrong, no racism. And if you work hard in earning and so forth, you know, you get if you make a certain amount, you get this amount, and that's good for democracy. But then what the problem is that socialism comes from when too many people are asking for a handout, and the people are being lazy. And when you have too many people who are, I'm just simplifying it.
Yeah.
If you have too many people looking for a handout, the Republicans is going to eventually say no. The Republic has the money in the capital.
Yeah.
So you got to know that that money comes from a source.
Exactly. The problem with socialism is you eventually run out of other people's money. And if they don't stop you, if they don't cut your funds, eventually they just keep giving, they'll have empty pockets too. So that's another problem. And that's why I say the system we have now is the best system, because not only is it something we can get used to if we just try, but also every system we tried in the last century does not work. We should stop trying to try socialism. We should stop trying to try communism.
And listen to this. Listen to this. You know, China has a communist country because there was too much freedom. Everybody wanted a handout, and they didn't know how to control that shit over there. I don't know how the Chinese was formed. Why is there people complaining that they can't get out? Because they allow those few individuals with all that power. Let's use common sense. They got all that money and power to control all them people over there. How can they not say what they want to say? They're complaining over there in their own country. How did that happen? I don't know how that shit happened.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
There's more oppression in communist countries than there is in the US based on race. And that's what a lot of black people don't understand. They try to run to communism because they think capitalism is racist somehow, when I don't see how. When capitalism isn't a system or anything. It's a natural process. If you leave people on their own, they'll eventually do capitalism. They'll eventually, if you have goats, if I have goats and you have daughters, I want your daughters. I'm going to trade you the goats for the daughters. It's as simple as that.
King Solomon was the wisest and richest man in the world, man.
Exactly.
King Solomon the Great. Exactly. And he controlled demons. You know, if you want to understand capitalism, let's have a talent. Let's have some sort of potential fucking innovative fucking idea, and then
exactly,
most people don't have a talent in the fucking world. They just become a parasite. They just feed off the planet, and they say, "Give me, give me, give me." That's a child.
Thank you.
That's a fucking child, man. I'm like, can't you just do something on your own? Can you just have some sort of talent? Teach something, make some sort of money. You're not gonna be completely 100% broke. You're not. Just don't be telling people this is a good way we can take advantage of the system. You know, there's loopholes every fucking where, but don't get too big for your britches. Don't do it too much. Don't tell too many people about it.
And you brought up a good point, man. You just said something profound, and I don't even think you knew it. You said that basically, if you have nothing to offer the world, of course you're gonna resent capitalism. Of course you won't like capitalism if you have no talent, if you have nothing to offer the world. Of course, if you have no fucking hobbies, you're gonna hate capitalism because you won't be able to capitalize on anything. Or you're jealous of the system because you can't succeed in it. That's the wrong reason to hate something, because you can't succeed in it. That's a definition of a loser.
We having a good conversation, but let's talk about bullying before we solve this world crisis right now. I think we'd be a good duo trying to solve this motherfucking DOE and fucking affirmative action type shit. And, you know, let's talk about bullying. Bullying can be good and bad. What do you think?
Of course it can be good and bad. While on one hand, it toughens you up. You know.
And that's what happened to me. I was bullied on, and I took on the bullies.
Exactly. On the downside, there's always a reason why you were bullied. And if you look back, we had this discussion earlier. Why you were bullied? Because they didn't like how different you were, how smart you were, stuff like that. That's another problem. So bullying can strengthen you, but the problem is there's two people involved in bullying, at least two. There's the bullies and there's the people who get bullied. The people who get bullied are stronger when they walk away from it. But the people who doing the bullying, they're still hurt. The bullies are still mentally the thing that caused them to hate you because of it. Let
me say one thing about bullying. There are more white folks and Milanos being bullied on than black folks. Let's get that first fact right there. And out of them fucking white folks and Milanos and crackers or whatever who get hurt, a small percentage of them become incels. This is the dangerous point, okay?
Yeah, no, but incels
Bullying to
are worse than
me,
bully victims. They're not just bully victims. A lot of them haven't been bullied. A lot of them are just they're nihilists. They're nihilists.
well,
That's all it is.
incels, indirect, virgins or whatever, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Understand they
Yeah,
can't handle it. And if they can't handle it, they're gonna get their dad's AK-47, okay? And these guys will just start spraying random people because their anger is not under control. That's the dangerous part. And I'm saying, I believe that a lot more people have been bullied on and they tried to handle it the best way they could, and they did not become incels. Okay. But there
exactly.
is a small of those white folks, those crackers, Milanos, or whatever you want to call them. I'm focusing on that because you see the Sandy Hooks and the Columbines. You don't never hear no black person because you hear nothing but the hood. The hood kill each other. Those are black incels. We talked about this before in
Yeah,
the past. The black incels. Nobody talks about black incels, but
yeah,
they're not really incels. They're getting sex and still killing motherfuckers up.
exactly. It's the opposite. Okay, that's the thing. A good point, Ashley. That's the opposite of the white community. The black community, the women lay with the men who are most likely to murder and do all that crazy shit. In the white community, they look at that as being like crazy. Asian community look at that as being insane. But I will admit,
Oh
all
my
women have
God.
all women do like a violent man. That's why men are more prone to violence. If I'm just saying it like this, if women didn't evolutionarily like aggressive men, then men wouldn't be more aggressive. You see what I'm saying? It's like if you ever met a dude whose wife described him as being unaggressive and all that, she disrespect the fuck out of him because she don't view him as being aggressive, as being alpha, and as being capable of violence. He needs to be at least capable. He don't need to do it, but he needs to be at least capable of
You
violence.
got to smack her up a couple of times.
Oh yeah, exactly. Most definitely. But the thing is, that's another thing that we got to get to is that maybe these incels, they not only were they bullied because they were bullied because they're weak, but also women didn't want them because they were weak because of what I said earlier.
Yeah, it's a
And that's,
that's a double-edged sword right there. They getting stabbed two ways and shit. They ain't getting no pussy, and
and they getting bullied. But the reason why they ain't getting none and the reason why they getting bullied is for the exact same reason, and that would solve the issue.
they ain't tough. That's
Exactly, and that's it. And it's just as simple as just being a little more aggressive, just manning up a little bit.
but sometimes it could be a genetic thing because sometimes they're really scrawny and they're not really built or anything. Because milk and eggs do fill niggas up, okay? Because they be looking big in the hood, and when I come across them as the big as they are as bullies and shit, they be killing motherfuckers. So you got to be careful what
yeah,
area you're talking about. But white folks ain't like that in their own ghettos and shit like black folks are. Black folks
yeah,
they just they have to prove themselves to the other nigga brother. And then I'm
exactly,
like, then you got Bloods and Crips. I'm like, kill all of them motherfuckers. Make them purple and shit. They combine them. They say they're combining themselves to what do you call that game? A bunch of knuckleheads that need to be exterminated. Make it a purple.
exactly.
If you got a Blood as a Crip and a fucking, you have a Blood as a Red as for Blood and Crips as for Red. What do you call purple? Okay.
Crip, you call it
Purple, fucking black and blue. Okay. I don't know what to call them motherfuckers. Okay.
That's the thing though. It's like a crypt. If you think a crypt, what's a crypt? A crypt is where you keep dead bodies, correct?
Yep.
And blood means blood. You get that from killing people. So it seems like to me that psychological words there. There's a psychological meaning to the words.
I seen somewhere that they was joining forces and they was like getting along with one another. They was like, we got to stop this man, but that shit is phony and shit.
Yeah, that's
That shit is
fake.
phony as hell. Okay,
They might do that.
If you're a stranger and you walk up in their hood, they're gonna rob you. Okay,
Exactly. It's simple. Or you wear the wrong color, you get fucked up. I'm wearing red now, but
I'm gonna wear black. Okay, black. They say, what you wearing black for, man? Oh,
exactly.
Shit.
And if you wear a bright color, they might just see you as a weak target. So either way, you screw.
Don't go into the hood. Don't go into Compton. Don't go with MS-13 is at. They got shit set up for your ass. If you were with the Bloods, you go to jail. They already got a key for you right there. There's the Bloods category. They put you with the Bloods. Okay, so
exactly.
It's all psychology game. Okay,
exactly. It's all division. Every form of division, whether it be race, sex, gender, or whatever, it's all the people who divide themselves. There's the thing. It's in human nature to divide each other up into categories. That's normal and natural. the other thing is the problem is that can easily be taken advantage of by people who know the psychology, by the people who say, okay, humans are naturally predisposed to division, so okay, fine, I'll just use that against them, and it works every time, and it's being done when you see new identities being created. The more new identities being created, the more division can be spread because you have more categories to put people into.
And think about it like this, guess what? If they're doing all that shit, it's all about love. They don't get enough attention. They missing something for them to do all that shit. I'm like, don't you have something else to
just
do?
Like just like
nothing else to do, okay?
Exactly. They're exactly what the people we talk about. No hobbies besides killing people in sports. And the funny part about it is that's a lot of liberals, gay folks, especially whites. They like to they like to identify as new genders because they have and embrace communism because they have nothing to offer the world. That's why they want to feel special just by being a special new gender.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes when I think of Candace Owens and stuff, slightly cooning and not talking about the pathology of it, I believe that they should just get to the nitty gritty and say, hey, we got to stop these single mothers from taking advantage of the matriarch system, because the patriarch will take over. The patriarch will. The patriarch is smarter than the matriarch. So when I went to court let me give you a great example here. I'm in the court, no evidence. They granted, I got a little upset. This is why I tell y'all guys, don't be upset if you're losing stuff. Don't, because you can get that shit back. In the overall end, she's gonna run back to you because you're smart enough to get it again. If you get it again, she can try to sue you. She might get you for your money, but guess what? That man will teach another man, see, and then it spreads on like a butterfly effect, and most men will not be interested in marriage no more. Congratulations, women.
Exactly. That's why I like the MGTOW movement. They're doing a justice for the world. You might have mixed feelings about them, but I think they're the best thing the movement is the best thing since sliced bread.
Well, let me talk about this Me Too movement. I don't like when they complain about it, but if they want to, it only makes men realize that it's not worth it to marry an American or a westernized woman, okay? But I don't like when they don't talk about solutions. Just like you're not supposed to be having sex with women who are used, right?
Yeah, exactly. They don't know that.
So they'll post pictures of women with fucking flappy jappies and no fucking balls and nelly pussies. But then I'm like, they don't know how about going overseas. They don't know how to take advantage of a woman in the matriarch. And that's what I don't like. They don't talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of MGTOW.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right about that. A lot of MGTOW don't. A lot of MGTOW just want to live their life. They do what make them happy, whether it being having sex with used women or not. They do what make them happy, and I don't knock that. But because let's be honest, if every man tried to go for a virgin, that wouldn't be possible because so many women in the world aren't, even in other countries.
Only the strongest of the fittest deserves a virgin. I'm telling you this.
I agree with that.
Most men are capable of doing what I did. I'm a prodigy. I went to Ethiopia. As a matter of fact, I'm in communication right now. I can give you this site after we get off of here. I got a site to where they give you free 7 days, man. And you can talk to all these South Sudanese women. And I found 2 virgins already in South Africa already. 2 virgins.
That's pretty good.
They don't understand that.
They gotta understand one thing. Africa now is kind of in chaos thanks to China and then the farming crisis in South Africa.
I know. And COVID, yeah.
Exactly. And they're embracing a lot of the Western values, and that's gonna lead them to sham. Because I shit you not, I seen Ethiopian women, girls, right, around my age. They went to they was on Instagram posting videos of stuff, and I'm like, y'all grounds look like dirt, your roads look like dirt, your walls look like it's fucking peeling. Yet you posting videos and selfies. I'm like, these are hoes. There gonna be no women left in this world no more, man.
They're becoming westernized because of Addis Ababa. Okay, I lived there, and I realized that the further when you leave out of Addis Ababa in the capital, they have the attire. They're actually wearing the clothes. They're actually wearing colorful clothes that they're supposed to be wearing, not like American style. But then if you go at night, they come out, and I was, oh, it's fucked. Only in the daytime. They come out at night ladies. And so they call bar ladies out there. I didn't know what the bar lady was.
Come out at night.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, I thought the whole area was nice and then it was nonchalant. No, at night, them hoes be coming out. Okay, there's no work at night. Okay, there's only a little bit of work. I go into the restaurants and it's like, shit, I don't see women serving me nowhere. Okay,
bro, I shit you not. I had a dream I went to Ethiopia with my brother. I shit you not. I had a dream I went there.
So if you had a dream, you'd probably be going with me. Okay?
But look, I don't know how accurate it was, but man, I don't know how to describe it. Like if I could draw you a picture right now, man, it was like everything was close together but far apart at the same time. You know what I'm trying to say? It's
Okay, yeah.
like the doors, like the entrance, like the stores were open. Like there were no doors on the stores.
So that probably mean that your doors are open to you. Because I know, I'm telling you right now, in Ethiopia, everyone is kind. Okay, there's no attitude out there. There's no guys who are like one of like tough. They don't act tough. They don't look tough. They're open to everybody. If I go to any Ethiopian, they'll always let me in. Okay. And
True.
especially when you speak American, they're very respectable to Americans. I just tell the truth like I saw it. There is no attitude or ego. Okay, that's gone. That's not, they don't carry guns. You can go into any neighborhood and they don't be carrying weapons and shit. They don't do that out there.
That's good. But yeah, I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do the situation wise. I don't know. When it comes to picking my potential wife or whatever, or what if I choose to get married, which I probably won't do. I'm not still haven't made up my mind
plan,
yet.
before we start talking about the last topic here, I already had plans to like set it up. Like I tell women in advance, I have no interest in getting married, but we can have a ceremony. When they don't understand the words, they get upset. Okay, and I said marriage is through the system. I'm not bringing you back to America. We will have a ceremony. You have to say that and be alpha about that because the females thinking that, okay, you know, you're not getting any pussy. I said, no, I have to get some pussy before I make sure you're a virgin, right? And I'm gonna see your family members. You got to make sure you make everything alpha. I said, because if they don't follow your rules, they're wasting your time. They're gonna use you. You got to be careful because they think that if a female has her beauty up here, she's gonna try to take advantage of you down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So let's talk about that. I mean, that's all I want to say about that. But you got to tell them exactly. You're not marrying them, but we can have a ceremony. You know, you must be a virgin and you must live with your parents because really strong alpha males and holy men do not deal with women who've already used their bodies.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying. Remember, I had a conversation with you last video. I said, do a woman have a right to say to me from another country, a piss poor country? Okay, and I'm going to say it like it is because they mostly are piss poor countries compared to America.
Yeah.
So I'm going. Do a woman have a right to say she's not into polygyny, but she's not a fucking virgin?
She got no right to say that. She's been with multiple people, so it's like polygyny.
They already having sex, so I'm like, you already had sex, so you might as well just settle down with me. The good thing about women who are not fucking virgins over there, it's more likely they can't possibly have more sex than American women or like fucking any other developed country.
True, because the men have low sex drives, so they don't request it as often.
Yeah, they're not experienced as enough as well. But understand that over there, they're not. When they have sex, it's like very wham bam or some shit. Or if that's why I try to investigate that shit. If they fuck the white man, if they fuck the white man, then they're no good again. Because I don't. That's a curse waiting to happen to your ass again.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
But I would not still fuck a female who's not a virgin over another country. I try to get some free pussy picture or some shit like that and see how far they're gonna take it. And some females just like, yeah, I'm sure I'm interested in polygyny. I say that bitch is probably lying. But she ain't gonna do it. I asked her to do.
She just want to get over here.
Yeah, she want to get over here. You're American. I don't say too much to females who lost their virginity. I say, this is what you're gonna do. I get real hard, okay? And that's what I do to American women. I don't have time to play this game, and you are even fucking 50 dudes.
Do they take well to it? The American women?
American women, they don't even give me a chance. So I'm glad they didn't give me a chance. Okay?
Me neither. I'm glad most of them don't give me a chance. And it's mostly the non-virgins that reject me. So I'm like, okay, cool. I recognize that pattern.
Even if you have a good personality, no matter what the fuck you got, unless you pull out it's peanuts and pockets. It's peanuts and pockets. But other than that, let's talk about how we gonna cure this motherfucker and get off of here. Because
you're right about that.
Okay, you know, it's peanuts and pockets. I made a video on that shit, but other than that I believe what's a good way of curing this motherfucking where's my paper right here? Affirmative action versus EOE. How to fix that shit.
You can't save a lot of. I was thinking that you can't save a lot of people. The people that's gonna do right by themselves is gonna do right by themselves. The people that's gonna be having baby after baby with different men and different women. They're gonna do that no matter what you do, and you can't change grown people because it's set in their DNA, because their parents will like that and their parents will like that. So it's set in their DNA, and you can't change a person's DNA by talking to them and trying to reason with them. I mean, you can, but it's extremely unlikely that you'll change their mind just by when something is written in their DNA. You see what I'm saying? It'll be as hard for me to convince somebody who's genetically predisposed to stupidity and idiocy and bad decisions as it is for me to argue with to convince a man that he's a woman. But we see that that's possible. But transgenders are only 3% of 0.3% of population. So you got to think of the effectiveness of arguing against people's genes, and it's not easy to do. So if summarize it, if it's in people's genes to be idiots to a certain extent, depending on how dominant that trait is, that's how dumb they'll be. There's nothing you can do to stop it. So the solution is to let the idiots be idiots and let the good people form their own community and be separate from the idiots. That's the best we can do. Don't try to preach to morons, and don't try to evangelize to idiots. Don't do that. Just speak to inform.
Even the Bible talks about that shit. Yeah, the Bible be like, don't feed your pearls to swine. Don't feed your and the pearls to swine. Say, hey, you know, that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
But be careful where you preach, because sometimes you get shot. Like Muhammad Gandhi, you know, he's always around a bunch of people. And then I said, why is he walking with the people? And then somebody just came up and shot him down.
Like what happened to Nipsey Hussle. He's trying to be close to the people and get what happened to him. Pop.
That's
what could have happened to you when you were younger. You were trying to tell people, don't smoke that, don't drink that. And guess what could have happened? You could have got shot the fuck up, man. Or jumped.
Yeah. But lucky for me, I'm still here, man.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky you, man. Unlucky me. Unlucky all of us.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, this is how the way to fix affirmative action. And I know that white folks do have some sort of empathetic heart in the northern white man. Okay, I'm calling them northern white. Okay, we feel bad for what we did. If you want to fix it, take away affirmative action. So we won't have to worry about this women taking advantage of men. Okay, in the butterfly effect. Take away the fucking affirmative action. That still is in place, but it's hard to. I was reading a documentary about the affirmative action, and they said that they're really strenuous on how it works throughout communities and colleges and also at employment. They're real strict to how that works and shit. So that's good. Okay, you know, they're getting real picky though. But I think that this should be a question there. Okay, remove the affirmative action things in colleges and shit. And if their genes are strong enough, they'll make it. The more they struggle with bunnies, they'll go to college the professional way. And the EOE, that equal employment opportunity, can be combined with my idea here. My idea is basically that the questionnaire says that, do you know, I've already read, I don't even need to write it down. I don't remember where I put that piece of paper at. But the first thing is that if you want to know how reparations should be given, is that if a white person knows their own history, you have your ancestors, right? The affirmative action can also, it's mainly predominantly for minorities, right? So there'll be white folks who would try to fight against this. So most whites will get through, but then there's some portion that they have to let through who are black. And I think they should take that away and everyone should work. But a white person must understand what guilt is. If your ancestors were slave masters, right? Yep. Or your families had a lot of capital, okay, then you get no benefits.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that? That means basically no black American gets any benefits. You know why?
But let me because
their ancestors were slave masters.
Let me make this real clear so we won't have to work this court thing, because I saw this documentary where this white guy found out he qualified for a position to be affirmative action. And it was completely racist. They rejected him simply because he was white. And you don't want racism, okay, for a white person. No, you don't want that, okay. So it had a bad taste in his mouth. So they went to court with it. I think his name was Rashton or something like that. Some white guy. He was highly intelligent, and he was the president of this university. I forgot his name, but I put it on my front page already. But anyway, to combat that problem with affirmative action, first get rid of that. Everyone should take this quiz. If you're white and you got a lot of money in your family ancestry, and you basically your ancestors, I know a lot of people won't confess this. If you're white and you got an ancestor who had slaves and shit, you don't get any kind of reparations. You're just gonna have to go through life. Okay, if your white parents neglected you, rejected you, and you refused the spoon in your mouth, you don't still get any you don't get any reparations. You don't get no precautions. You gotta work hard. Now, for black people, however, they get three. They get three. Since we already know this country was raised by slaves and stuff like that, and minorities and shit like that, and the Chinese are doing fine. So it doesn't pertain to them. They're not really completely minority because they're well off. They're actually doing much better, than other minority races. But blacks are worth $2 trillion. So this is why I want to make sure I make this real clear. If you're a black person and you don't know none of your ancestors who deserved reparations because of your ancestors, and on top of that, you haven't been discriminated against, and on top of that, you were not a slave, you do not deserve any reparations or affirmative action. Okay, so basically, those questions are very important as a black person or a Native American, which is mainly the main two that was really fucked up in this country. The Native Americans really got exterminated. Okay, and blacks are worth $2 trillion. So it's kind of like a balance thing. Okay, so you got Native Americans who have little pockets of America which they owned, and they're still stealing electricity and shit, but they should get reparations big time. Okay, and the thing is that blacks already got half their reparations back because there's a lot of African Americans who are worth $2 trillion. Okay, so here you go. And then on top of that, if there's some blacks who want to complain, you can also leave the country. Okay, and I don't understand let's take away their affirmative action. The equal rights, equal opportunity, employment. What's it called? EOE. What's that? Equal opportunity. Equal rights, okay, whatever, okay, for employment, okay, that should be taken away. This basically, you hire someone at your own free will, but there's consequences if you don't hire enough individuals. There'll be some kind of problems, and it'll be documented. All this shit is stored on the internet, and then you can see and test it out yourself. But that's how you can fix all this affirmative action and the EOE, and other than that, that's the best way to fix it. And I think that's a good idea. Okay, and women can keep doing what they want to do because it's going to backfire on all of the women, and I feel bad. I kind of feel bad for women when you got a lot of Muslim women speaking up and saying if a whole bunch of blacks come together, that's a dangerous motherfucker right there.
Yeah,
when intelligent, rejected black men, when intelligent black men are virgins and they don't get a chance with women. That's going to backfire on a lot of women overall in general. And then the white man if you got the white man and the black man coming together, which I told you before, this is a sex war. It's a sex war. And it's not about a racism. It's not really, it's about a sex war. I'm telling you, man, it's a sex war. It's not racism. Okay. It's like, because the women are inciting that race war. That's Lilith. Okay. Remember I told you Lilith is the one who causes the racism, because the more war between the man, no matter, they're gonna look for him for the pan. Okay, they're gonna be looking for that pan, okay? And that's the women do things indirectly. Okay,
exactly. They commit everything indirectly. The men go off the war and kill millions. Why did the men kill millions? Well, because the women demanded it indirectly. They wouldn't sleep with the man
in their own country. Okay,
exactly. And because why do the men commit gang violence? Because the women won't sleep with the man who doesn't commit gang violence. They only sleep with the ones who do. So women do things by proxy. It kind of seems like blame shifting a little bit, but that's only if you don't understand the psychology of the genders. Men do things to please women, and if the women are satisfied, the men will do that thing, and because that's what we do. And
I always say that so many simps, so little time. Think about how many men who are willing to pander to a woman. Think about that.
I hate that shit.
I'd
rather be a complete asshole to a woman than the pander. I hate that shit. That's why when I see dudes say, "Oh, she fine," I just want to say, she alright. I don't want to give her all this props because because you know what I'm saying. It's like you worshiping her. You put her on a pedestal. Like, why? What for?
Every time I put a picture of a female on there who's from another country who looks innocent and got a nice body, she gets no hits. But let's you put yourself some Western female out there, some high yellow bone bitch with a whole lot of makeup, and you'll get I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This does not make any sense. So a woman has to look like a clown. She has to look like a fucking exposed Jezebel clown, a succubus. Now I'm starting to sound like Louis Master Farrakhan here. She gotta look like a fucking succubus or a siren or some shit to get all these succubus.
Yeah, exactly. Makeup make them look like a clown.
Yeah, man.
Makeup and bright color hair, they just look like clowns. That's the definition of a clown.
And now I'm seeing women from South Africa have these weaves in their heads now, and I'm starting to see it. And I'm like, damn, man, this shit spread all the way over there, man.
Exactly. I hate when to see a dark skinned chick with straight hair. That just don't look right.
With that weave in their head, she's the demon. It's like I can see right through her. I'm like, okay, how fast is she going to expose herself to me? Right?
Exactly.
That's terrible.
Because you know what's going to happen. She's a Shaquisha. I seen an African woman, right? She said she'd been all over Africa, and she lived in, and she was praising African countries, yet she lived in a white country. Another example, And she was snapping her fingers like a Shaquisha, but she was from Africa. Exactly. She like, baby, let me tell you. And I'm like, what the fuck? You supposed to be from Africa, you acting like hood Shaquisha. What the fuck? That proves that blacks are a minority, right? But that proves that the black Americans are a minority in the world. But that proves that that a minority culture can influence the whole world. Therefore, it doesn't matter how small that population is.
Think about it like this. Look at how much influence America has over the whole fucking world. America is the whore of Babylon. It is the whore of Babylon. People don't understand that. That's in the Bible. It's in the Bible in Revelation. I keep telling people it says, and people woed against her fall. Okay, her. What do you mean her? I thought it was I thought it was white supremacy. Okay? No. And this woman is drinking the blood of saints, which is male virginity. Okay, and she got the word written on her forehead, mystery, and she sits on the scarlet beast. I'm like, that sits out. They should make that into a fucking video game. God damn it!
A video game based on Christian mythology. You know, there was actually 2 video games based on Christian mythology. There was what was it called? Dante's Inferno, which was like
I was just about to say that shit. You took the words out of my goddamn mouth.
Exactly. I played it on
PSP. I got that game. That game is, I don't know why that game don't get enough popularity, man. That game is right up there with God of War. I don't understand that.
But since it's based on Christian mythology, it don't get enough popularity.
Oh yeah, the white people. That's white.
Exactly, it's criticizing modern religion. But another game is Darksiders. It's based on Christian mythology too. You play Darksiders?
I beat those games. I beat all of them motherfuckers right there.
Exactly.
Man. I didn't beat the third one. I didn't beat the Darksiders 3 though.
Okay, I have that on PS4 right now. I don't know what to go because I always get lost in those kinds of games. They try to mimic Dark Souls, and I always get lost because they don't do the map right. I always get.
You're talking about Darksiders.
Yeah. I was saying Darksiders. Yeah, Darksiders tries to play like Dark Souls. You see what I'm saying? They try to use the same map layout. But yeah, I was saying Darksiders. I always get lost in those games because I don't know where to go because they never make the maps. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not touching this for years.
So you mean to tell me when you play that game, there's no map in it?
There is a map, but I think there's, but you get lost easily. I think is there a map? I don't know.
Every game should have a map, man. Even the game I'm playing right now, The Witcher 3, it actually guides you to your destination. They give you markers and shit everywhere. This shit is huge. You saw me playing The Witcher 3.
Darksiders does that, but they don't do it right. There's markers, but they only show up when you close enough to it, and you don't know where to go.
Oh, so they just have to fix their shit.
Exactly. And I was playing other games like Bloodborne. Bloodborne doesn't have a map, but that's the thing though. It relies on you to use a common sense and landmarks to figure out where to go. And since it's not that big a world, you can figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to get lost in those games. That's why I don't touch it. But that's a game. Those are games based on Christian mythology a little bit. And I think it's safe to say any form of media, any form of mythology or religion needs to have some kind of game behind it. Otherwise, it won't. It's just gonna be. It's not gonna be good.
And you have to understand that anything that has a lot of controversy behind it, there's some shit that how white folks are way more religious than anybody in this fucking country. It's not going to be getting any popularity because I didn't understand why that Dante's Inferno didn't get enough. It didn't get enough kick. It didn't get no advertisement. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, because it didn't sit right with
it had nudity in it. It had sexuality. Yo, oh my goodness! It was like the first black sister I've seen. Remember that one battle you had to fight with Cleopatra and her lover?
I didn't play the full game.
shit. I'm sorry to say something, but that game is pretty old, and you should have beat that game.
Yeah, I
Oh,
had it on
her
PS2.
titties was all over. There was babies coming out of her nipples and shit, and fucking babies. The vomit was turned into fucking all sorts of crazy shit. I was like, this is not no God of War. This is outrageous. And then I was like, nobody actually is talking about that shit. There's a whole bunch of nudity and goddamn Dante's Inferno and shit.
Yeah, it's an
That
underrated
shit is a
game.
beast. Yeah. But everybody want to talk about God of War because it's based off of fucking Greek mythology. You know how people are Greek Roman Hellenization and shit.
I can't lie. Greek religion is more interesting than Christianity. I can't lie. It's more
But
interesting.
that's Egyptology. That's like Egyptian style
Yeah.
Cleopatra shit, you know. And I wish they do merge all that shit together. But one day they will. They will. Because I know God of War is heading towards that way. Because I ain't gonna spoil it, but I never beat the last God. The newest one, the new God of War for the PS4. I ain't beat it. I'm waiting for don't get these new systems. Just wait, because I wait for any system that's backwards compatible is a system worth getting. Like, don't get a system that does not have backwards compatible. That's just how I see all these systems. And don't get a Switch. Just wait, because I don't even have a Switch, and I really want to get that so bad for my daughter because she keeps asking me for this this game and shit. And I say I can't get that because now I know they come out with another one soon.
Yeah, Nintendo kind of threw themselves off a little bit on the console releases, you know. But that's
to me. I believe that the funnest system to have is a Switch. You can't beat Mario, okay? And then you got Donkey Kong and Samus Aran. You got Link.
Those are girly kitty games.
Yeah, but they're serious too. You know, they're not
serious. They have a dark lore behind them. I won't lie. They do have a dark lore behind them. But you would never.
But I'm just saying it's more funner to play them. You can actually beat those games. You can actually do something. It's not you ain't gonna be dying 50 times. You might die like 15 times, but you ain't gonna die 50 times.
Yeah, true. I like games where I die a lot. Like, I like seeing a death screen. You know, any game with a good death screen, it usually goes black and white, and then a ragdoll physics happen, and you start dangling off the edge of like cliffs and shit. It's fun to see my character die.
Yeah. Right. You see this just like I am. I say I don't mind seeing the screen, but I don't like seeing it too many times because sometimes there should be multiple ways. See, I'm schizo. When I play a game, this should be sometimes I take my items and I actually use my brain and say, this should be able to stop it. There should be multiple ways of defeating monsters. Like if you play Witcher, there's multiple ways of beating the monster. I'm like, that's creative.
You know what Witcher remind me of? It reminds me of a game I played on PS4 called Dragon's Dogma. You ever play Dragon's Dogma?
As a matter of fact, I wasn't gonna get that shit, but I never got a chance to get to it because I'm busy, man. That's a good game. I know it's a good game.
You can create two characters. One is your main character, and the other as an AI control. And you can share that AI control character on a server online, and people can use it as follower characters, and you can have up to 4. Did you know that?
Yeah, other players can play. Is it co-op?
Nah, it's the online version was shut down, but there was an older version called a Dark Arisen that lets you play on. There's no online on it, but it's one player, like Witcher. And it'll remind me, it looks like Witcher 2, and it'll probably play similar. Like, you can climb on the top of creatures and shit. Like, you can hit weak spots and like they'll fly around and like crash. It's crazy. It's like Monster Hunter, similar to that.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is a beautiful game. They fucked that game up bad. And I was like, the one thing I was really dreaming for is that I know the best shooter out there is Borderlands, okay? But I'm like, at least make it co-op, okay? I'm tired of you got to be online. As a matter of fact, there's another game that really pissed me off. It's called Space Lords, okay? And I didn't know they looked like it was a combination of Borderlands and Dark Souls. And it's so spectacularly beautiful, and the script is fucking perfect. It was really not. It was raunchy. It had attitude and everything, but you can't even play unless you can be online with other people and shit. I can't stand that. You got to make your games co-op, people. So your developers have to be open-minded. You have people in the house. At least make it 2 players co-op. I don't like games like that where it's just one player, you know, and then other people want to play too. And, you know, Borderlands is the only shooter out there that's co-op like that and colorful and full of charisma than any other shooter. Okay? And I believe maybe one day they'll do it. Okay.
But no, you ever play Half-Life?
Yeah, I played Half-Life, but it was one player.
Yeah, Half-Life on a PS2 has split screen mode. Did you know that?
Oh, that's Half-Life 2.
No, Half-Life 1 had 2-player.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I beat it on PS2 with my brother. Yeah, it's a pretty fun game. But one thing I miss from the 2000s is the split screen games, because they bringing that back with some games. Like a lot of survival games have split screen, but they need to bring that back totally, because I miss those days, man. I remember playing Motocross Mania 3. If you ever played that game, man, that was the shit. There's so many
I
good
played
games.
so many goddamn games, and I hope to God that they keep updating these systems in these games. Like LAN mode should be also like if you have your own TV and you got
Yeah,
your own Xbox and you got your own game, you can share the game. You should be able to play split screen, okay? Have your own duck screen and shit. I don't
exactly.
understand why they get lazy with that. People want to play co-ops. That's what Smash is about. That's what Nintendo's about. Where
True.
people, your family, you want to be family oriented too. You can't.
Exactly.
That's why. See, when I think of the systems, number one in first place for the funnest system where you won't be dying over 15 times in the game is Nintendo.
Yeah.
Anything you can't beat Nintendo. Mario is more popular than all characters in
Y-
the world, and
Yeah, that's true.
they got their own exclusives. Okay,
Yeah,
and,
Nintendo is good if you have like little kids and you have like younger siblings you want to play games with.
family
Yeah,
oriented.
yeah.
Family oriented. They got the best fighting game. They got that Smash Brothers Elite, and they keep adding characters on that motherfucker. The
Wait, do they
second
have Soul
place,
Calibur?
huh?
Is Soul Calibur on
That's what I'm hoping for. They're gonna do it. It's called Ultimate for a reason. You can't go no further than that. They just adding the roster. They put Banjo and Kazooie in that motherfucker, man. They
Ah,
put
shit.
they put back Solid Snake. Okay, they put back a couple other characters.
Don't they let you play as your me?
Yeah, you can play with your me and customize your me now. I'm like, yo, I really want to get it, but I'd rather wait. There's too much shit coming out very soon this year and into next year. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay,
I wanted to get the PS5 this year or next year or something, because I wanted to play Demon Souls remake. Oh my god, Demon Souls remake.
and there's no loading. The new systems. There's gonna be no loading. That's the next
Exactly.
step. No loading, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. We're gonna get more. Society's gonna get more decadent than ever before. We're gonna become more spoiled than ever before with no loading times.
And then on top of that, women are gonna start exposing themselves more, acting like they're gamers and shit, getting paid and shit. So you're gonna have to get prepared for that too. Because all I see is titties
Exactly.
and legs. Sometimes some people's got their legs open and the titties.
I never
That
understood why
sucks.
some men pay for porn. Like, that shit is free online. Why would you pay to see one woman?
Exactly. I'll be on Twitch and shit. I'm like, this motherfucker's giving to this bitch. All she's doing is blowing into a fucking mic. I'm telling you.
Exactly. There's enough free online content on the internet that you
But
would
you
never
want
have
to watch a bitch
ever seen.
blowing into the. I saw this bitch blowing it. I was like, I'm gonna get my daughter to do some shit.
Careful, you might attract a lot of creeps, man.
Yeah, but I can see what they're writing to her and shit. She's ignoring all of them motherfuckers again.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, I'll be a rich mother. I'm like, did she just? No, she's just attractive. Okay, she got pretty eyes. She don't say much. She don't say shit, man. Did you be on Twitch lately? Have you been on Twitch?
nah. I just recreated my account a couple days ago because you were playing.
Yeah, man. I was like, yo, you better get on Twitch. I have a backup, just like Dr. Disrespect.
Wait, are you talking about who now? Who got pretty eyes and stuff?
I don't know her name, but you can see she had pretty eyes. She got red hair, and all she does is make sound effects on these little materials that she purchased, and she blows into the microphone. I'm a subscriber to her though, but
What the
not subscriber, but I'm following. No, I follow her because I want to see more. No, I'm not because she's cute, but I'm intrigued by how many guys for psychological and studies.
Uh-huh.
How many guys be
You a
like
psychological simp. You a psycho simp.
I never fucking donate to any female on there, man.
Me neither. I was always cheap when it came to women. Like, I would go to the fucking library. I would just do nothing. Like, I would literally do. I'm super cheap. I would never spend a whole lot of money on women. When it came to Valentine's Day, if there was a girl I liked in school, I would be like, nah. I just tell her I like her. I wouldn't even get her nothing. I was always.
I remember I told this one bitch that to give me a cup of coffee. She bought it for me, but she was ugly as hell, and I needed some coffee.
That almost happened for me once. The girl offered me to offered to buy me some hot cocoa, but I didn't want none because I hate cocoa. Like I'm not a fan of cocoa. At least back then. Like if it's a good brand, then maybe. But the school selling it, yuck.
Oh man, but let me say what it is. The first place is Nintendo, so I don't have a Nintendo Switch because it's not too much backwards compatible. And on top of that, I think the second place is Microsoft because Microsoft is combining themselves with Nintendo. You do know about that shit. We should talk about that. We should talk about that on the video, man. I told people
they were doing
don't fuck with Microsoft. The Sony is going to eventually be joining Microsoft as well. I told you all systems will be combined as one. There will be no longer. I think they can make a monopoly. Of course they're gonna, but they're gonna be separate. It's just gonna have a name brand. It's gonna be one system.
True. I predicted that a couple years ago, but that won't happen. But that's the thing, though. Sony already patented all the way up to the PlayStation 10. They already got copyrights for the PlayStation 10, so I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it might not be soon. I don't know, man, because Microsoft has already joined with Switch to when their new system. They're already selling a lot of their Microsoft products on their Switch. Did you know that? And in third place is Sony, because most people who are Sony followers are usually fanboys because of the certain exclusives. Because every system has their exclusive. It's just that when I say second place for Microsoft, it's because everything's intuitive. You get free games to be installed on your system, which you can play offline. Sony, you can do some of that, but it's complex. It's more only you're focused on what everybody else says. You're a follower, and don't get me wrong. I love a God of War. I love Ratchet and Clank. But the thing is that system was not backwards compatible. You got
that's the only problem with the PlayStation.
It's too many problems with the PlayStation.
And it's the only reason why people
it's
still beating Microsoft.
It's noisy as a fucking rocket. It's noisy. It glitches more than the Xbox One X. I told people about this.
Mine isn't noisy. What PlayStation you playing? Mine not noisy. I got one and mine is not noisy at all. It's the most quiet thing in the house.
Maybe it's because of the version you got. I don't know, because they say that kid is a spaceship. They say that mother. I said, what?
They just not taking care of their shit. That's all that's about. People just not taking care of their shit.
Man, I don't know, but a lot of people do say it's quite noisy. It's very loud. Okay. They say the PS is very loud and it crashes. There's a lot of crashes. Of crashes.
There's crashes because there's indie games. There's more indie games on a PlayStation. You ever played a game that somebody probably could have made it?
I never buy no indie fucking games because you can't. If you purchase any, I recommend people avoid indie games with the plague, because if you purchase their game, you don't actually purchase their game. You can't play it offline.
Yes, you can. On PlayStation, you can play them offline.
I don't know if they changed or not. I'm just saying that I purchased some games on my Xbox, and I'm like, yo, there's only a few of them, but I can't play them offline. You got to be careful.
That's Xbox fault. That's Microsoft fault. On PlayStation, you can play any game you buy offline.
But guess what? I also bought some games on PS3, and I could not play them, motherfuckers, because you had to be online. Be careful. Turn off your Wi-Fi and check it out before you. I'm telling you, I could not play some games I purchased off my PlayStation store, and my daughters and me, we was upset because I'm like, I bought this game. Why can't I play this fucking game? Okay,
that's ridiculous. That never happened to me.
For some reason, it's indie games. It's indie games. They was on my my Xbox 360. It transferred over. Can't play it offline. Well, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck? That's unusual.
Yes, and I'm like, y'all got to be careful. I talked about that in one of my videos. Be careful. Make sure that game is played offline. And there's one catch. There's one caveat to it. If you're switching to different system, you may need to transfer the license over. So just be careful with that, because I know about the license too. But even when I transferred the license, still wasn't allowed. Like my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I remember Turtles in Time. Okay, that wasn't even an indie game, and I could not play that shit offline. And I was like, I paid $16 for that motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah, man. That's why I'm like, if there's a game that you can, that's why you should get a cheap laptop or something. And if there's a game you can play on,
but guess what? The flaw with PC, and that's in last place, is that the PC race don't understand that you need to be online. Okay, trust me, to play most of them games you purchase. So be careful. You may get them for free.
True. No, that's not true at all.
A friend of mine who has a laptop, he said, I can't play none of my games. I said, oh shit, I didn't know that shit.
What the fuck is wrong with him? Does he use Steam?
I don't know, but I'm saying it's if it's confusing. If you
No,
purchase the
no.
game,
What
you
he was
should be able
probably
to play,
doing, he was
right?
probably streaming the games. He was streaming.
Okay.
If you downloaded,
Maybe I misunderstood and standing in again. I don't know.
yeah, because if you download it to your computer, then you don't have to worry about that. But if he was working and it from Steam, which usually sometimes streams it, Steam has to update before you can sometimes not all the times, it's random. Sometimes it has to update so you can access your library of games, but you can always run that game separately from so basically he was launching from Steam instead of clicking on a file himself. He was going through a third party to do it, and he was dumb for
Well,
that.
but
So
listen,
that's why.
regardless, if you got a big enough hard drive to store all that shit, if it's free, you're gonna be overloading real quick. Okay,
Well, that's
people be
if you
thinking,
don't control yourself.
okay, you go and put all that shit on there, and that's the bad thing about PC. No matter how pretty the fucking graphic is, and no matter how well you like to use that mouse, because I like a controller, I don't like the mouse. Okay, and on top of that, it's like eventually all of the systems is going to supersede the PC anyway. So eventually, it's going to come.
Another problem with PC is if you have a family, you can't really play with your family on PC games.
What?
You know, yeah, you can't. A lot of and it's like that by design, really, because a lot of the games that's multiplayer, that on this like split screen co-op on, they got like couch co-op on a PlayStation or the Xbox. If you play it on PC, it don't got that.
Oh shit! See, there's some shit I don't even know, man.
Yeah, man. So
And
you gotta be
my friend was telling me you should get a PC now. I said, why would I get a PC when it's so much more convenient to have a system?
exactly it is. But you should get a computer though, not to game, but just
Well,
because it's useful.
when I had my last computer, which was a Vio, okay, that motherfucker was powerful as fuck, and I never used it for games because you can get viruses, man, and I
Yeah, if you
get real
download them
scared.
illegally.
Yeah, but I get scared. My system was powerful. I fucked up my computer because I kept it on the radiator in there and it blew out the heat sinks. Even if you plugged it in, it wasn't starting again. And I didn't have that much data on there anyway. I just used it when I was in Ethiopia and shit. It was a Vio Sony. It was pretty. I paid $500 for that motherfucker.
Jesus
Way
fuck.
back. Yeah, it was really good, okay, but it's gone.
You pay everybody in the Ethiopian villages rent for like a year with that money.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, people wanted to live with me when I was out there, and that said that no, I didn't want no trouble because they had girlfriends. If you had a girlfriend, I might try to hit on her or some shit. She might smell sweet, and I ain't got no time for that. So she might come over here and try to fuck with me. Okay, then I have to fuck them up. I don't want to deal with none of that. So I didn't let nobody live with me. I let two people live with me for a short time,
And that's the worst thing you want to do is be in a foreign jail.
yeah, I don't want no drama over there and shit. Somebody might say he did this to me and take me immediately away without serving my rights because
Exactly. Because in America, you got rights.
Is over there, okay?
Exactly.
They just run their mouth, okay? You're gone, okay? And I'm like, you just raped somebody. Then you be sitting in jail so they can book you and shit. I said, I'm an American. They might not treat you the same, but you got to be careful with that. I don't know, okay? But you got to write down some things. I got so much other shit to talk about anyway. But
Yeah,
we
man.
talk about video games. I'm about to go. I'm gonna give me something to eat. I was supposed to play basketball, but it's kind of chilly outside. It's raining too. Oh my goodness! I saw the sun a little bit.
Yeah, man. But hey, man, it's good hearing from you again. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool chat.
Yeah, most definitely. But we talked about bullying and systematic racism, how it can be cured, how everything revolves around Lilith, and it's not really racist. It's not really racism. I don't believe racism comes from a woman's anger. Okay,
that's true.
What do you think about that?
Just like Jesse Peterson? If you ever hear Jesse Peterson, he write about a lot of things. It's they angry like they mama.
Yeah, but I guess, and the good thing is that since I don't hate women, even though they do despicable thing, you can take advantage of them big time because men should be playing chess more.
That's
How
true.
do you say you play chess, but you got dominated by a woman? You didn't play chess, motherfucker.
Exactly. Me, I don't play those kind of games because it kind of sickens me because it's like I don't want to be in the mud. Even if I am searching for pearls,
Listen. When I say playing chess, I say 1 minute chess. You got 1 minute to think. Okay, because I don't like when motherfuckers sit there for 3, 4, 5 minutes. I want to play for fun. You got 1 minute to think. You should play chess, man. Chess is really fucking fun. When someone don't think no more than 1 minute, you got a little hourglass thing. Turn it over, click, your turn. You know, it's fun. Just like if you play a board game like HeroScape, Hero Quest, those characters, miniature characters, it can be just as long. Okay, because I got that game, HeroScape. They say you still got that guy. I say, yeah, man, that
How
shit
long
ain't
have-
no.
Yeah, board games always interested me.
Yeah,
they-
but chess is like a miniature board game. Okay, it's not as big as a HeroScape. Okay, because HeroScape, each character have their own ability and shit.
Oh
You
yeah.
got, you got to read that shit a little bit, okay? And I set my shit up. I got my shit just in case if I do have company, and they'll probably might try to rob me. Okay? So I gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's smart to not rely on video games all the time for entertainment. You need to have some kind of other form.
You better have a backup just in case
Yep.
the power go out. I got some shit for everything. If the power go out, I got a whole bunch of shit. You gotta have a backup beyond the back. Okay.
And you can't just back up for safety, like have flashlights and all. They got to back up some fun too.
Man. And lots of people don't know how to do that shit, man. But I'm glad you came on here, man. Glad to talk to you. We talked about bullying and the systematic racism. And I'm gonna talk to you later. If you got another topic, you know, just get back in touch with me so we can have another screen, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Another discussion, man.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
Pretty good discussion.
All right, later.